Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, why one cabinet minister believes the PLP can't be beat at the polls this election cycle. The foreign affairs minister snaps back at an MSNBC pundit claiming Bahamas terrorist ties. Meanwhile, Bahamar executives are confident the brand will survive the past few rocky years. Plus, who's the lucky person who won this hot red luxury car? Welcome to our news. I'm Paige McCartney. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping news tonight. Now that we're into election season 2017, political organizations are revving up their campaign machinery and are on the ground seeking to get the votes of thousands of Bahamians. One PLP cabinet minister believes, though, that once the party gets things moving on the campaign trail, no other party will be able to match. Here's Cal Joaquin with more.
After an energetic three-day convention that saw the overwhelming re-election of Prime Minister Perry Christie as leader, the Progressive Liberal Party's base appears fired up and ready to hit the ground running. With just a few more candidates left to be ratified, Mike Hill MP and Agriculture Minister V. Alfred Gray says while the fate of the party lies in the hands of the Bahamian people, once the party's machinery is in full gear, it will be unmatched by the Free National Movement.
Any well-thinking people who are looking for a stable, cohesive government cannot choose the FNM over the BLB. Now, you may not like the BLB, but if you're looking for a government that is stable, that is ready to govern, and you say the FNM is more ready, then either you're blind like Batimas or you don't want to see.
It's been a rough 4.5 years for both the PLP and FNM. The PLP government has battled one controversy after the next, while the FNM has grappled with a leadership struggle. Gray said the focus this election season is on leadership.
But given the choices, Minnis or Christian, the choice is clear. I mean, I don't want to go further than that. But wise people do wise things, and the Bahamian people ain't stupid.
Gray made no mention of the DNA or its leader, Bramble McCartney. He says that's intentional.
I mentioned the FNM because they are perhaps the most viable. I don't want to talk about them on the price. So many of them. You got gatekeepers, storekeepers, rangers. Everybody want to run for a government now, and they have a right to do that. But I honestly don't care to mention too many parties because at the end of the day, I believe the Bahamian people, they will select a government. They're not going to just vote for the fun. They're going to try and find a party that will be the government of the Bahamas, and a government that's stable, leadership that is reliable, and not change every time the wind blows.
As for low voter registration, Gray said he's certain there should be a spike following the excitement generated by the PLP's convention.
But Bahamians generally wait for the last minute to do a lot of stuff. You know our people. If elections are announced tomorrow by the Prime Minister, the lines will be around the bend and around the corner because we just like to wait until things must happen.
Reporting for our news, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Now, comments by a guest on an MSNBC cable news show that the Bahamas has more terrorists than other regional countries have sparked outrage on social media, even garnering a statement in response from Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration Fred Mitchell. During the show, which is hosted by Joy Ann Reid, Malcolm Nance, a reported expert in security and terrorism, said, quote, "We, meaning the United States, have not banned terrorists from Brazil. ISIS has dozens of members from Brazil or Trinidad or the Bahamas who have more terrorist members than any other of those countries," end quote. The clip has been spread rapidly on social media. Mitchell, who called the report rubbish, said upon hearing the report, he spoke with the Prime Minister, the National Security Minister, the head of CIB in the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and all other agencies responsible for national security, all of which responded that they have no knowledge of any such terrorists or group of terrorists related to ISIS or any other terrorist organization in the Bahamas. Mitchell said the Bahamas mission to the United States has been asked to reach out to U.S. counterparts, to MSNBC, and to Nance himself to find out what the source of those allegations is. The mission has also been asked to ask for a retraction forthwith. Well, despite its troubled history, the multi-billion-dollar Bahamar project will keep its name. That's according to newly appointed Baha Mar President Graham Davis, who says new owner Chow Tai Fook Enterprises recognizes its value. While there will be no name changes, Davis says there will be other changes before Baha Mar opens its doors in fewer than 90 days. Here's Jasmine Brown.
Davis says while the multi-billion-dollar Baha Mar project will keep its name, its marketing campaign will be tweaked.
There's great brand equity in Baha Mar as a name. There are millions spent on marketing in the past. If we were to change the name today, people would simply say, oh, the old Baha Mar. And we believe strongly that as a destination, Baha Mar has tremendous equity and strength. Bahamian Riviera, that side of the marketing and destination marketing, that most likely will fade away, and we'll be working on a new marketing campaign.
As for how their marketing campaign will be funded, the Baha Mar president says that's still being worked out. However, he hopes to create a partnership with the Ministry of Tourism and the hotel brands associated with the Cable Beach Resort.
We hope that there will be a great partnership between us and the Ministry of Tourism, the government, of course, with NPIPB. With our marketing contribution there that we'll be a member of, and certainly ourselves from our brands. We're expecting Hyatt, Rosewood SLS to certainly contribute and give that global exposure. So I think with the combined efforts and collaboration, we'll be successful in our marketing campaign.
On Monday, it was revealed that a definitive agreement was signed between the new owners and Grand Hyatt. The agreement allows for Hyatt to operate the mega resort's casino and convention hotels. Davis says CTFE has already sunk around $100 million into restarting operations and construction. While he could not say definitively what the final price tag would be, it has been suggested that the project could cost around $4.2 billion.
Our hope is to exceed expectations. We certainly have a great world-class team, world-class brands that are partnering with us, and certainly the work that's being done to build what we have today will certainly, I think, exceed the expectations, certainly in the long term. As we thoughtfully open, we're going to open up in a very organized and thoughtful manner in April to start building up to that winter season of 17 and 18. So I think everybody should understand that it's not going to be you open the doors and they're all going to come rushing in. When it comes to group business, they want to make sure they can touch it and feel it and experience it before they bring their groups back. And so that's going to be a work in progress.
Baha Mar is slated to hold its soft opening on April 21st after missing its original opening date in December 2014. Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, the high number of work permits granted in the hotel sector needs to be closely examined. That's according to Tall Pines Member of Parliament Leslie Miller. He revealed as much on the sidelines of the Progressive Liberal Party's national convention earlier this week, noting it's something he hopes the government will soon address. Christina McNeil has more.
Too many work permits are being given out in the hotel sector for jobs Bahamians are more than capable of doing. That according to Tall Pines MP Leslie Miller, who says the issue was brought to the fore during a recent experience at a local hotel.
For example, when I was here to the prayer breakfast on Sunday, a friend of mine who works in the kitchen, he was complaining that because the food really was lousy to say the least. The damn grits was hard as hell. And I asked him, did you have a Mexican fixing grits in the Bahamas? I mean, you know, the government got to wake up to the reality. Jobs what Bahamians can do, they should be doing. You should not be giving out this dray load of permits day in and day out to these hoteliers.
Miller says terminations such as those experienced at the one and only Ocean Club Resort last year should never happen again. And the first step is ensuring Bahamians take pride in their work and ownership of their country.
That this is my country. The government invite you here. We're happy for your business, but we have a stake here too, and we should not be given only marginal jobs. The jobs should be jobs in management, just like the foreigners have. We have the same capability in the head what God give us.
For too long, Miller says Bahamians have been complacent, but he hopes government will soon address issues affecting the average Bahamian.
These are the core issues that I think this government needs to deal with. That we are for Bahamians. Your motto used to be Bahamians' voice. And hardly nobody believed that. Because over the years, it hasn't transformed itself into you believing that firmly. So I don't know what the theme is going to be at the end of the day. But I know people out there, they're hurting, they're upset, and they want a new direction as to where this country is headed, with them being full participants in the benefits that accrue to all of these foreign entities that reside in our country, that pays no taxes, that make good profit, and let us sit at the table instead of throwing us the crumbs on the floor.
Reporting for our news, I'm Christina McNeil.
We have a lot more news to get to. On the other side of this break, police investigating 2 shootings overnight, and an F&M candidate laments the crime scourge. Stay with us.